back to the Showtime podcast by your favorite host, MrShowTym himself. So today's topic is quite the important one for my fellow black men, basically our black community, but it's more tailor-made for my fellow black men. Our people are being killed in the US, and today's video title is named "What Can We Learn from the George Floyd incident that happened in late March 2020. What can we learn from what happened to George Floyd? Put money in it. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm so glad you asked. But before I get into detail, let me first say this. Black people have been complaining for the longest time, for decades, about discrimination and racial profiling with regards to police brutality and other forms of discrimination. Black people have been complaining for decades and protesting and simply been crying out and being asked to be treated as equals fairly. And the white man has said the same thing over and over, not verbally, but by their actions. The white man has been telling us, F your problems. We don't care. But here's the thing. The definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. People, it's time for a different strategy. Complaining and protesting isn't going to help us at all. We've tried it for 5 decades or even more. It hasn't been helping our people. In America, police brutality is at its worst. It's at its highest. Look at what happened to George Floyd. Look at what happened to Breonna Taylor. Research these names, you will see the results. What happened to George Floyd in the US has touched so many black people globally, especially us who live in these westernized societies that are rigged against us. In the US, in the UK, and here in South Africa. Now, although here in South Africa we don't usually face police brutality to the degree. Yes, we do have our police incidences here and there, but it's usually black on black people. It's usually it's not a racial matter. People, we need to invest and put money behind our movements, because the white man has been saying to us in retaliation to the Black Lives Matter movement, the white man has been saying all lives matter, essentially basically ignoring the meaning behind the Black Lives Matter movement, which is not an anti-white agenda. It's merely saying that, hey, black people are being killed, we matter as well. And then the white man, in response to that, they say, all lives matter. It's funny because black lives have never mattered throughout history. Like, when throughout history have black lives ever mattered? Did we matter during apartheid? Did we matter during slavery? Do we matter now in North Africa, where there is still ongoing slave trade? But you see, the media does. We don't know that because the media doesn't cover it. The reason why the media doesn't cover it is because they don't care about our issues. We have to take care and take heed of our own issues by putting money behind our movements. The Black Lives Matter movement has a bad reputation because people think that it's all about violent protesting, which is not true. The Black Lives Matter movement started out as a peaceful protest. But what you see on the media is the violent riots, which isn't true. Most of the Black Lives Matter movement, it's peaceful protests anyway. Not the riots, not the select few riots you see on TV and on social media or on the media. So here, I'm doing these videos to come up with solutions for our black community. And my solution is, black people, complaining is not helping us. Crying and complaining and protesting is not helping us. We need to put money and invest financially and create platforms that's gonna force people to respect black people no matter what. If someone does something to a black person, we should make them pay. But we can only gain power by investing financially into these financial schemes, like financially. Have you seen the LGBTQ community and the feminism community? The reason why it's been pushed into our faces so much is because there are people investing money into these movements, into these agendas. You see adverts on TV. There's money being invested. Black people are not investing money into our issues. All we seek is just pity from other people who do not care about us. That's not gonna fly. That's not gonna cut it. Black people should come together and put money into certain schemes and create our own platforms that cater for us, that are created for us, by us. We should we should form campaigns to create adverts. We should create our own platforms, just as much as YouTube is a white-owned platform. Facebook is a white-owned platform by Mark Zuckerberg. We all indulge in it. We all utilize it. These platforms are going to cater for white people's interests because they are owned by white people. Black people should create our own platforms that's going to cater for our issues. Instead of being out there in the streets parading and complaining and protesting. Protesting alone isn't going to help. Protesting means seeking pity. We should form financial schemes that's going to create black-owned platforms, and we should do networking with other black businesses, black-owned businesses. That's the only way forward. Now, of course, Say, for example, we come up with these platforms that we invested in. It's still a long shot in terms of competing with white-owned platforms and schemes. Black businesses and black platforms are still, they, they can they can hardly compete with the likes of Facebook and YouTube and mainstream media. But at least we're gonna have something that is black owned that we can fall back on, at least, and we can develop that over the years, over time. It's gonna take time, people. See, the problem with black people is we want quick fixes. Nothing's gonna come quick. We're gonna have to be patient. We're gonna have to collaborate with other black businesses to create platforms that we're gonna develop and become strong, so that we can compete, eventually compete with the likes of the mainstream media. Black people, well, I was gonna say black people, but I want to say black men in particular. We are the least protected demographic on the face of God, on the face of the earth, on God's green earth. Even black women have some form of protection. They have some sort of movement. Have you ever heard of First for Women? Have you ever heard of the feminism movement? This is because black women have come together and they've put money behind their agendas. What have black men done besides complaining and protesting? We need a new strategy, people. If we are to survive, we need to put money behind these schemes, and we can only do that by collaboration and networking. Another issue is, the thing is, it's very hard to work with black people. It's very hard. It's difficult. But it's the least we can do for now. Aren't you tired of living in the same hole? We are 26 years into democracy, and black people are still at the bottom of the barrel, even despite the fact that we make up the majority of South Africa's population. We are still at the bottom of the barrel. And that's because so many of our people, not all, so many of our people, the majority of our people are just so comfortable being at the bottom of the barrel. I'm not comfortable, which is why I'm here offering these solutions. See, I'm not here to incite hatred or racial divide. I'm not here to speak against white people. I'm not here to form enemies. No, as a black person, that I am here to cater to my fellow black audience, my community. Sadly, so many black people just don't care about their problems, our problems. They don't. That's why we're just in the same cycle. But fret not, because I am here to offer solutions. I've gained certain insights, and here I am delivering, so that in hopes that someone, if I can just change, inspire three people, to change for the better. Not why three? There's a reason why I say three, because one is a fluke, two is a couple, three is a group. I want to be able to say I've inspired a group of people to change for the better. In future videos, I'm gonna go in detail about my solutions and viewpoints. But for now, that's it for now. Help me grow this channel. Help me grow our audience by liking, subscribing, and sharing this video to other fellow black people. This knowledge needs to be circulated. I need to reach a wider audience because it's taken a man, an innocent black person, to be suffocated and killed by a white man's knee on his neck for us to wake up. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and comment on this video. That's it for now. Thank you for listening.